As you can tell, I'm a bit of a spirit Halloween head myself. Halloween has released their 2024 lineup, and I've already spoken at length about it to all my friends to the point that their ears have exploded. So now I must spew my sloppy opinions on you, the people. I had some ground rules just so it's interesting. I have to say at least one positive and one negative about each prop, so I'm not just like dogpile hating on something or fanboying for it. Um, yeah, let's get started in no particular order. Alright, so starting off with the Ringmaster, I'm gonna be honest, not a big fan. Just like most things that are like clown or carnival themes. Other than that, not much to say about him. I like his face mold, and it's cool to see an animatronic that's mostly a normal guy. You don't see that a lot. But to avoid repeating myself 87 times, I'm not going to count Circus theme as a valid negative for a prop. So to give an actual, like, proper negative, I think his hat looks really goofy. It doesn't really match the proportions of his head, and it's just kind of not great. Next up is Nibbles the Clown. Again, very heavily biased against clown props, but this guy is so fucking ugly. Like, seriously, he's very generic looking, and his just face is seen it 80 times before. I'm not a fan of it, which is a shame because the motion tracking stuff is really cool. Like, I want to see that in an animatronic that is cool looking. And I just think for introducing a technology with as much like potential as the motion tracking does, it's kind of a shame that it's on one of the most generic props of this year. Next is Barnaby the Bear, who is one of the best circus props, in my opinion. Like, the bouncing motion's really cool, and I really like the dapper attire on him. The only, like, complaint I have is that it's not that creepy. Like, he fills the role of that, like, atmospheric set deck prop really nicely, but he isn't creepy enough to feel like a, like, real horror prop, I guess. He's cool, though. I like him. Next is Cotton Candy Dan, and he is the best circus prop I've ever seen. I seriously love this guy. His face is really creepy. It's really cool looking, and the motion of him stirring the cotton candy bucket's like fantastic. The jump scare is one of the best we've seen on a prop, and just no one really expects it to come from the bucket on the ground. It catches most people off guard, and I think is really cool. The only real complaint, the voice lines are really cheesy and goofy, but that's common for props, so who really cares? Next up is the Gravestone Ghoul, and I really like this guy. He's not that flashy, but those simple props tend to be some of my favorites anyway. Face mold's great. I really like the glowing green eyes. They're really creepy. The only thing is just very monotone gray the entire way out. His clothes just kind of blend together with him and the gravestone. It's just kind of gross with the color scheme. Next up is Nightcare, and this guy just sucks. Like, his motion's cool, I guess, with like the head bobbing up and down, but it's just so generic and boring looking. And that fucking laugh is just terrible. Like, it's not creepy at all. It sounds like someone's uncle made a terrible joke and is just kind of like faking laughter to try and pity people into finding it funny. It's really hard to think of a positive for this one because I really don't like him, but you know the face lighting's kind of neat. Seeing like I could imagine seeing him like across in someone's yard and just seeing the face lit up at night. I could see it being cool. Wanda Webworth is next, and I love spider props. Those are some of my favorites. Being arachnophobic probably helps with that. I tend to think they're really creepy and just fit that Halloween spirit really well. And this thing is just fucking awesome. It's truly looks like a mutant beast of a creature. The only negative I can think of is that the legs it stands on look really weird and disproportionate, but it's so cool and it kind of adds to that like uncanny feeling, so I can't complain that much. Next is the Cremator, and I don't have any strong opinions on this guy. Like I kind of like the vibe he's going for. It's really spooky and kind of like Edgar Allan Poe kind of vibe, but overall he's like visibly cheap and just kind of there. Like nothing special. Uh, Next up is Max Straw, and not really much to say here either. He's pretty simple. I really like the way he holds himself up with the pitchfork. It's a really cool idea for a scarecrow prop. It's great for atmosphere, but the face is just kind of goofy. Let's be honest here. Next up is the Dark Princess, and this is just a Dagger Mike reskin. Like
they're not even really hiding it here. It's still a good jump scare, I mean, but it's nothing that new. I do prefer the ghostly demonic theming over the original clown one. For my main complaint, I gotta level with you guys for a second. These small props are not scary. This is true for Dark Princess and Dagger Mike and like some of the other little kid ones. Like, what is there to fear with it? Like, oh god, a 6-year-old's attacking me. Oh no, oh no. Like, no, just punt the bastard. There's no intimidation for a fucking 6-year-old trying to kill you. I'm sorry. Next is the demonic gatekeeper. Not much to say here. I like his face because I like skeletons, but he's just kind of boring, and nothing special. I can't really say much about him. And now we reach my favorite of this year, my son, the one, the only, giant death ray. I fucking love aliens. Don't believe me? Here's a picture I took with an alien at Arby's. Look how happy I am. That was the pinnacle of my life. That was before working customer service ground down any happiness I had left in me. Those are the best days of my life, and that alien was there for him. Also in the same Arby's a few years earlier, I met Obama, so it's a pretty whack ass Arby's. Anyways, this prop's awesome. I've longed for a good alien animatronic for a very long time, like since the day I was born. Really, I mean, my first words were not "Dada" or "Mama." They were, "I need alien animatronics. I need them." The 10-foot tall frame's really good on this guy. The creepy servo head movement's really cool. This guy's got everything really. Like I can't bring myself to think of a negative for him because he's just so cool. But I am unfortunately legally required to give one. So I guess I'll say I wish he had the motion tracking technology instead of Nibbles the Clown, because it would make him so much cooler. Just imagine that, like, creepy skeletal, like, alien face just staring into your soul. It's so cool. Last and certainly not least is Rick Ratman, and good lord, this guy is so gory. Like, gore fans eaten good this year with this guy. Like, good shit. The hole through his chest is just so cool, and the little rat dangling down is awesome. His motion and general look is great. The only complaint is that his face just kind of looks like a soy jack. Well, that's all of them. We did it. Bye!